What is going on, everyone?
How is it going?
We are here to give you some exciting videos in our excitement and our anticipation for Resident Evil Village.
Resident Evil.
It's time to get excited. And we are waiting for Tokyo Game Show to show us some more information, to show us some stuff. But we wanted to put some stuff out leading up to it to get excited, start the road to the village. And we're going to talk about some Resident Evil excitements. And John...
This will be the first video in a series of videos you guys will be getting all week.
All week.
Leading up to Tokyo Game Show and our big announcement afterwards.
Yes, big announcements are coming.
Anthony's super excited about. I'm super excited
so
about.
Stoked.
Everyone in the chat is going to be super excited about.
Yes. Get excited. It's time to get excited once again.
Get excited. So, what better way to kick off Resident Evil Village conversations with our big excitements going forward? We have been a little quiet on Resident Evil Village because there hasn't been really a lot of information that has come out.
No, we covered it in June extensively with a bunch of breakdowns and analytic videos that you guys enjoyed. Hope you like that and appreciate that feedback.
For sure.
But we haven't really... Yeah, there's just been like certain playtest leaks and stuff that we kind of talked about in the August leak video, but it wasn't really like anything... Yeah, like we're just trying to like wait until we get more. But it gave us some time to really think it over and think about what we've seen and to really collect our thoughts going into some of these videos.
For sure, yeah. And we wanted to do these leading up to Tokyo Game Show because all of this could be irrelevant after Tokyo Game Show, depending on what they show.
If you look at the date of this video down below, you'll notice it is before the Tokyo Game Show announcement. Just want to make that clear.
Correct. And yeah, that's really all we want to say in the beginning of this video. And we hope you enjoy the content all week.
Yes.
Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe.
Thumbs up.
And join in on the conversation below what you are excited about to see in Resident Evil Village or Resident Evil 8.
Let us know.
Whatever you want to call it. I really don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, you call it RE8 if you want. You can call it Village if you want.
The road has begun. It's still the same.
The road has begun. The road is the same. So without further ado, let's talk about what we're excited about, and I'll kick it off.
Do it.
One of the things I'm most excited about with Resident Evil Village is the setting. A return to Europe. A return to a more gothic, a more medieval setting. We've got demon motifs on the doors. We've got swords, apparently, zombies, witches, werewolves, occult symbols, castles. I'm all about it. I love that it's going back to not like a Resident Evil 4 feel. I shouldn't say that, but it's kind of a Resident Evil 4 feel with the castle.
It just feels like a bigger game, really.
It does, yes.
And some people might... have heard our take on the Bakers and that being isolated in the house, and whether while that was good and it was like more scaled back, I like the idea, like seeing this just gets me excited because it's something new and refreshing, something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I'm really excited for the setting because that's kind of my theme. I'm a big fan of Dark Souls. I'm a big fan of Bloodborne. I'm a big fan of a lot of fantasy, a lot of medieval fantasy, Goblin Slayer, Berserk. Claymore, for those of you who know what that manga is. Love that one. I love a lot of that setting. So anything that's that esque, I'm a big fan of. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing a move away from a house, moving into a castle, moving into a village. That was one of the things I really appreciated with RE4 was the change of scenery.
Right. It did something new.
Until the island. The island I didn't like, but that's besides the point today. So yeah, the Romania setting, return of just that whole aesthetic, something that's got us excited. What else has us excited, Anthony?
So the other thing that has us excited is the anticipation of new enemy designs.
Yes.
And hopefully better designs than the molded. One thing that we've been very vocal on this channel since Resident Evil 7 was released in 2017 was us talking about how the molded were kind of bland and forgettable. And, whether or not you like the Bakers or not, the overall enemy design that you ran into, the enemies that you ran into, the molded, those BOWs just weren't that memorable. And even in the DLC, it didn't really seem to hold weight. If anything, the Bakers held more weight than the molded themselves. And I just want them to really switch it up. And of course, because of the material that we're working with now, we're going to see so much from from everything we're hearing, the rumors and the stuff that's been announced. So there's going to be so many different enemy types that I feel like we're going to get, hopefully, a more filled variety.
Like a diverse cast.
Cast. Yeah. Something that isn't just like, oh yeah, molded.
And they're
whatever.
they just look different.
Yeah, they look different and they attack different, and there's actually some fear in there. There wasn't a lot of fear from the Bakers that I felt personally, and a lot of fear from the mold. Like, I didn't look at the mold and I was like, oh man, that's fucking terrifying. But you look at an Iron Maiden or a Regenerator and you're like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's an example, so it's like you can just make it a lot more frightening with the enemy design. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about that too. Just seeing more enemies that don't all look the same or very similar. That was one of the things that, Resident Evil 7 didn't have so much, is a variety in enemy designs and enemy types. All of them were molded for the most part.
Right.
You had like Marguerite and Jack Baker and
they
stuff
focused
like that.
a lot on that, like a lot more on them and Evelyn than like anything else.
And then you had like your regular
For better or for
Regenerator
worse.
looking ones, your Licker looking ones, the big, bloater clones from Last of Us. But even going back to like Resident Evil 1, you had the zombies, you had the Cerberus, you had the Neptunes. Not maybe they weren't in a lot of the game, but you had Hunters, Tyrants, Chimeras. They were all infected by the T-Virus. They had the T-Virus as like a link to between worlds, basically. Good pun for those of you who are Zelda fans. But it was basically a link between these monsters, but they were all different. And they all could do different things. And yeah, they attacked you and you died, but like the molded were like a one-hit gimmick.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, we're doing the same exact things. We have the same exact properties, but we could do different things. Whether you enjoyed them or didn't enjoy them, that's besides the point.
Right.
It's more of a matter of we just want more variety this time around. And we're really excited because it sounds like, according to the leaks, that we're getting a lot of variety. Which leads us to our third most exciting thing, potential tie-ins to older things in the franchise. There was a lot of rumors going around. There's a lot of rumors going around about it being tied to Revelations 2, about it being tied to Code Veronica.
Or Alex Wesker.
Alex Wesker, from Rev 2. And we do know that it started as a Rev 2 project, and apparently we don't know that for sure, but that's what the rumor is. Which will lead us into a little bit of another topic that we have later on in the week for you guys. It's just one of those things where, like, I'm really excited just to see old people, and just putting Chris in the game isn't what I mean. I want to see a tie back to older things. Maybe Spencer, maybe Umbrella, maybe Code Veronica and the T-Virus, maybe, a character that we don't think is going to be in the game is going to show up. I want to see tiebacks to Resident Evil 7. I don't want them to just abandon 7 and just be like, oh, it was just a chapter in his book. Like, bring the molded back in some way. I know that's contrary to our previous point, but make sure that he went through that experience because of something, for a reason.
It's one of those things where I hope that it's just like the tiebacks need to be. It can't just be like a little call, like, oh yeah, they're like in RE7, like, oh, there's the Albert and there's the picture of the mansion on the wall, and that, like, it needs to really take the story and tie it back to the timeline
100%.
that we know, like, because they just can't. I just don't want it to be phoned in, because I felt like the way they did Chris and the way they did those, like, quote unquote, like the winks and the nudges were way too fucking lazy and phoned in. And if you're a Resident Evil fan, and even if you like RE7, there's no way that you can disagree with that, because it was lazily done. Like, it really was. So
DLC,
the DLC, the story DLC for Chris and stuff like that, like, that's unnecessary. Really just make it bake it into the actual game, bake it into the story. And because we have so much history with the older characters. I understand this is also Ethan's story too, but like, clearly Chris is here. There's still a connection to the older games. You can't wish it away. You can't wash it away. There's still history here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a deep history, and like, we don't want them to forget that as fans.
100%, man.
Nothing wrong with that.
They just can't.
Yeah, so we'll see if they do.
Yeah.
Because because of everything we're saying, all these points are really opening the doors for them to do so much stuff better than 7. Just talking about some of these excitements really opens up my mind to, like, there's so much stuff that they can. The floodgates are open for such of the change that they can do to make it steer it in the right direction, and the timeline is something that we care about.
Yeah, 100%.
As fans. So, like, some people might not care. They might only care about 7. Some people buying this game might only care about 7. And I hope Capcom doesn't, like, think that way, where they're like,
some people might buy this game and only care about this game. This might be their first game.
That's true.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. They'll just see Resident Evil Village and they'll be like, oh, I know Resident Evil, and then they'll just buy it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just saying that
every good sequel, every good follow-up needs to be able to be standalone. It needs to be able to survive on its own without connections. But connections are what strengthen the franchise's story as a whole. So hopefully they just learn from what they didn't do in 7 and push it forward to make it a stronger experience on all assets.
I hope so, man.
On all sides.
Yeah.
You know, like just, you know, gameplay, story, you know, cutscenes. Please, for the love of God, give us back cutscenes.
Oh man, please.
You know,
I miss them.
Really excited to see the tie-ins. Really excited to see the designs of the enemies. Really excited to see the castles and the medieval setting. But there is one character that we're really excited to see back on the screen.
Yes. The other point is Chris Redfield.
Yes.
That is a big thing, is that we're excited for. The other point is Chris Redfield himself. It looks like he's being depicted as a darker, more, you know, he's gone through some more stuff. A tragic hero.
Anti-hero.
Yeah, like
just a businessman at this point.
We know that there's more to his motives here. Like, I feel like we feel like it is. Like, we've talked about this before doing these recordings. Like,
correct.
He has to, there has to be something else driving him to do this and a reason why he's involved in this. And Chris Redfield, we care about, he's literally been in there since the beginning, since day one with the Spencer estate. And the thing is that I just really don't want them to do him dirty, because I feel like in 7 they did him dirty, and I'm really excited. Again, like we just, to all of our points before this too, there's so much potential to really make it call back to the older games, call back to other characters. But if we just see Chris Redfield, that doesn't mean that might be the only old Resident Evil character we may see in this game, which is also why I'm excited to see Chris, because I feel like they should bring in someone else, or maybe have another connection. Maybe Claire might be hanging around somewhere, or something happened after Revelations 2.
Maybe
we don't know. Rebecca,
maybe Jill.
Yeah,
there's so many things they could do.
Yeah, and I'm just excited to see where they can really take his character, because he's on the cover. He's rumored to be the statue. You know what I mean? There's so much, it seems like he is the center of everything in this game. And I really hope that that's the case, and I hope that they explore that. I'm super fucking excited to see Chris. I know you're not the biggest fan of Chris Redfield.
I think he's always been mediocre.
What would you want them to do in this game for you to make him a better character for you, in your opinion?
I think the most important
thing... Because me and you have different opinions than Chris.
I think the most important thing they need to do for Chris, for me, is make him interesting. He's a safe character. He's not very dynamic.
They didn't really do a lot with him in 6 when we last saw him in a full game. They didn't do a lot with him.
Most of the characters in Resident Evil aren't crazy dynamic, right? But Chris doesn't really have that thing that the other characters have. Jill has always been the badass woman, right? And then Ada's the mystery. Leon's the cool person. Claire's the glue that keeps everyone together. She's the right person. She's always trying to do what she thinks is right. Chris is always kind of just losing his teammates,
drinking,
and then creating more problems by being an asshole. That's all he's done since the very first game. Maybe not the original first game, but in remake, him and Jill both had zero personality.
Mm-hmm.
But past that, it's just he's never been a character where I feel like he was very relatable.
After 5, I think it got a little over.
He's almost like Barry, where he just turned into a meme once he punched the boulder, and that's what people remember him from. Yeah, you could spout the normal hero nonsense. He's trying to protect his friends. He cares about his people. He cares about his sister. That was one of the reasons why Code Veronica Chris, despite looking like a N64 Donkey Kong, is one of my favorite Chris Redfields. Probably is my favorite Chris Redfield. Not be in design, but in character, because that was character development.
And it was him actually going after his sister.
Was looking for his sister, who was looking for him. He went to go protect her. He showed emotion. That rivalry with Wesker really started, on screen at least.
So you would say after Code Veronica, they just didn't really do his character right.
They didn't do him right, man.
Because after that, it was 5.
After that, it was 5.
Leon was in 4. He was in 5, and then Chris was in 5.
And he just seemed like he was led with a carrot on a stick in 5. It was just Chris wasn't really... He never felt to me like an interesting character to play as. He always felt like that guy that we know exists and we know he's important.
I feel like that might have changed if Jill was with him, because
it would have changed if Jill was
brought out his his past and his personality more. But you had Sheva, and
if 5 was going to be where Wesker's road ended, there should have been way more Wesker and Chris.
should have been way more to that finale, and Jill should have been there,
Yes.
like for the whole. I understand she was weak and she had stuff, injected.
How hard is it to pull a trigger?
Right. Exactly.
Or
to
Chris.
assist in a
Assist.
even if Chris does all the legwork, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I never felt like Chris earned the. There's a lot of reasons. We're not going to get into that because that's not what this is about.
We don't want to sidetrack it,
but there's a lot of things with Chris in particular. I feel like he didn't earn the kill against Wesker. He wasn't who we went through all this stuff with. And honestly, which this is a video topic for another day, but I really think all of that would have been avoided if Resident Evil 5 was a solo player game. If we got solo Chris in Africa, I think it would have been a much better Chris Redfield.
Maybe
and
a scarier
better
experience
story.
too. It might have
and
not
a scarier
been as like
experience.
action.
It would have been more like 4.
You always have your buddy with you in 5. When it's 4, like Leon, like he's alone, and even when he has Ashley, I mean, she's useless.
Ashley,
she is Ashley. Even when he has Ashley, you have to put her in a dumpster or whatever just to hide her.
Exactly.
She's gonna die.
Or crawl
so it's
under
like
the table
you're
or whatever.
alone, and I think that would have made for a better story and maybe some character development. But
and I understand
to
the
each his
problem.
own, you
I
know?
understand the problem with it, right? Like, there's obviously political reasons why they didn't want that game to be that way. Anybody who thinks that's not the reason why they changed it, that's the reason why they changed it.
You don't know the RE history as much.
Yeah, they changed it for very, very political reasons.
Yeah.
And, I get it. It is what it is. Chris shouldn't have been there.
It doesn't change that Chris was written poorly.
It could have been
anyway.
Sheva's game instead of Chris's game. And I get it. There's always an agenda. There's always, things that need to happen. But hopefully this time around, man, Chris has just done right. And we really, get more Redfield that we want.
Yeah.
Hopefully Chris is fueled by something.
He's one of my favorite characters. So
yeah, hopefully he's fueled by something, and hopefully he has a personality, because, we always joke around about like Ethan not having a personality.
Right.
But other than RE6, which is really just him being a jarhead and screaming a lot, Chris doesn't really have a personality either. On paper he does, in the extended stuff he does, and in the archives and stuff he does, like
Vendetta he was
Vendetta he does,
bad,
like the extended stuff he does, but like in the games he doesn't really have much of a personality.
And 6 didn't help because there was so much. They were trying to fit so many personalities.
Nobody
into
really
that
worked
game.
out in 6.
Yeah,
Leon kind of did with like the Ada thing where he's like holding her and stuff like that.
Right.
And Helena was a good example.
But it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. We should have got more out of 6, and 6 was the last time we really saw him played his campaign, his perspective, and they dropped the ball. So this is the time for them to fucking do it right on
Vendetta did
Village.
it right. Vendetta did Chris great.
Yeah, and that was a movie, so they had no choice but to give these characters some fucking shit to work with.
Chris in Vendetta was amazing. Like the way his character acted, the way he spoke, the way his mannerisms were, he was perfect. None of that is in the Resident Evil games. He's always so monotone, edgelord, boulder puncher. He's just not the way that I think he should have been handled. A lot of the thing where he's like a mess and he's, kind of causes fights and like he's a hothead and stuff, that's all cool, but when it's your only thing, the character gets a little stale.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And I think it was a little weird how, like, at the end of 5, he's like, it's all worth fighting for. And then in 6, he's just drinking fucking alcohol just because his comrades died. It's like, Chris, you probably lost so many comrades on BSAA before this. Why is this affecting you so much when you've literally seen the worst of it? You've seen literally Wesker almost end the fucking world. And you're going to tell me that you losing your comrades makes you hide like a little bitch and drink? Like, I understand PTSD, Chris, but what the fuck, Capcom? Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. And people say Leon did the same thing, but Leon was on vacation. He was drinking on vacation.
They were trying to look for him for 6 months. They were trying to look for Chris for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's like find him. They couldn't find him, and then Pierce found him in a bar. He's like, "Oh, look, the Chris Redfield wasted away in a bar." Like,
and Chris was like,
"And where was Jill to pull him out of it?" You know what I mean? It's like Jill's your fucking best friend and your comrade, and it's like you're sitting here like, where the fuck was she?
Did you say something, rookie? That's what Chris was like. He was like drinking he's like, give me a bottle. He's like, you're done.
And it's,
give me a fucking bottle.
Yeah.
He was like bad Santa.
Yeah, taking her from the waitress. He's like, why don't you just shut your mouth? He's like pouring it.
And do what you're doing.
Yeah.
He was
like,
such
what?
an asshole.
He was such a dick. Yeah, anyway, Chris
regardless, he's one of the 4 major faces of the company.
And it's not too late to turn it around. It's not.
Of Resident Evil.
For Resident Evil, yeah. It's not too late to turn it around. They just can't make him show up in the last frame of the game and tell me to play DLC for his story. They just stop doing that.
Really excited to see him.
I'm excited.
If he's done right.
If done right.
And what's the last thing we're excited for?
The last thing we're excited for is the return of the shop and or merchant.
Correct.
That we're going to be getting in this game. Don't know. I mean, it's not going to be the merchant.
It's not going to be the merchant for Resident Evil 4, no. But
this,
there is a merchant coming.
A merchant-esque person.
Correct.
That is the older lady in the trailer that most people kept commenting and letting us know about in the comments. They're suspecting that's the merchant. Very much so, because this game is going to be a mixture of action and horror like RE4. This is so much better, and we're excited about this because we talked about this, so much better than the coin cage thing in 7. Because that was stupid. That wasn't even upgrades. That wasn't, it didn't do anything for me. If like currency, I'm fine with. If they just work it into a shop and have attachments, like I'm really excited to see the supplies again. Just don't make it OP.
Yeah.
You know, but
I mean, hey guys,
I'm ready.
We're really excited for the merchant, and we have a whole video that's going to come out
just on the merchant
later in the week from when you're watching this video. They're probably all going to be up and scheduled.
Yeah,
and so you'll be able to go look at everything and get and click the notification bell so that you can watch it when it premieres. But it's going to be a really exciting time as we inch closer to Tokyo Game Show this week.
Oh yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Hopefully they show a lot. Hopefully we're not going to be disappointed. Hopefully they don't show us nothing. You know, that would be awful.
Yeah. Because then we'll make more stuff that we're excited about from the new trailer.
Oh yeah, we're going to do videos afterwards.
Yeah, so there's going to be so much that we can start kind of formulating some of these thoughts and opinions and see where Capcom's head is at with this.
So the setting, the character, enemy design, the return of the man himself, Chris Redfield, tie-ins to older games, and the return of the merchant and possibly weapon upgrade system. Those are the things we're the most excited about. Make sure you guys leave your comments in the description.
Let us know.
And let us know what you are most excited about with RE Village. And now I'm talking to everybody. If you're an RE7 fan, if you like first person, if you like fixed camera angles, doesn't matter. If you're going to pick up this game and you're going to play it, if there's a single thing that excites you, let us know below. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace. This video was brought to you by our supporters over on Patreon, where users like Chris TV Live make it possible to keep on delivering awesome content. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button just like Jill smashed Nemesis with the car, and hit subscribe for more Resident Evil content. Don't forget to join our Discord in the link down below, and you can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Take care.